Hello everyone, how are you? This is our seventh lecture in week 9. In this lecture, we're going to cover again comprehension and phonics. Okay, are you ready to start? Let's move on. In this lecture, we will cover the following skills. We will cover phonics, long E, the long E, the words that have long E sound but spelled as E, EA, EE, E consonant E, IE, EY, and Y. You can go back to the phonics book, pages 13 and 18. Vocabulary words: alter, collapse, crisis, destruction, hazard, severe, substantial, and unpredictable. We're not going to cover all the words in this lecture. We're going just to cover 4 words. Reading a word of change, pages 50 to 53, and the genre here is expository. Start with the phonics. The phonics long E. When do we have long E sound? First of all, the long E sound, it can stand alone, okay? It can, the E, the vowel E can stand alone. But sometimes it needs another letter, okay? So, in 2 cases, sometimes the E stands alone and gives the long sound. In other cases, it needs another letter to work with it and give us the long E sound. Examples. For the words that have only E, like evening, zebra. The words that have EA, breathe, you see in the middle, okay, I have both vowels. I have both vowels, E and A. Here they give us the long E sound, breathe. League, also here we have the EA. Squeaky, here we have the EA, and also at the end I have the letter Y. It gives us also the long E sound. Healer, healer, EA, also they give us the long sound. You see the difference here? Just the word E gives us the long sound, but here both vowels EA give us the long E sound. Here in this group, I have the double E, EE, like sleek, indeed, brief, deed, speech, and wheeze. Okay, in this group, I have the words that have a vowel E, consonant, then silent E. Concrete. If you notice at the end of the word, I have vowel, consonant, then silent E. So this silent E gives the previous vowel the long sound. Scheme, also the same. Okay, I have E, consonant E. This group, I have IE. Belief, belief, IE give the long sound E. Chief, they give also the long sound E. Here in this group, I have the EY vowel theme. Honey, at the end I have EY, they give us the long E sound. Donkey, also the EY give us the long E sound. The last group here I have just the letter Y at the end of the word gives us the long E sound, like family, weary, okay? Let's take a look over the meanings of the spelling word. Zebra, you see the zebra, it's the animal, striped animal. Evening, it's a period of time. Afternoon, that comes after afternoon. Okay, evening. Breathe, you take in air, then you take it out. This is a breathe. League, and mostly boys know what we mean by league. When we have a group of teams, many teams that play together or against each other, maybe soccer, maybe football, maybe basketball, okay, and at the end, just one team wins the trophy. So we have a league. Squeaky. Imagine what this toy makes. Squeaky. Kick, kick, kick. Okay, they make the sound of squeaking. Healer. Healer is a person who heals someone who is sick. Okay? Sleek. Look at her hair. It's sleek. Indeed. Surely. Okay? Actually. Indeed. So I can relate this to words. Indeed, her hair is sleek. We mean actually that her hair is glossy and straight. Okay. Reef, underwater. Okay. Deed. We mean here indeed that something has been done or performed. Okay, property deed here means that someone has bought a home, for example. So a deed means here that the property now officially belongs to him or her, for example. A speech, when someone gets on the stage and starts talking to a crowd or a group of people, so he makes a speech. Wheeze is to breathe in a rough way, like this way, okay? Especially we wheeze in winter and when we have a cold. The concrete, we use it to put the stones together while making a building. A scheme we mean like a drawing or a picture of something. Belief, every person has his own beliefs, okay? He has his or her own way of thinking, okay? So this is belief. Chief, we can simply say the chief is the big boss of a group or at work, for example. Honey is a sweet food, and where do we get honey from? We get it from the bees. Donkey, we all know what is the donkey. It's an animal. The family, father, mother, brother, sister, grandparents. Okay, all of these make a family. Weary, look at this woman. She looks weary. What do you mean by weary? She's very tired, exhausted. Okay, tired of working or of thinking, maybe. Okay, so this is what we mean by weary. Practice. An analogy is a statement that compares sets of words. Analogy, we say we have analogy when we are comparing two words together. Maybe they have the same meanings or opposite meanings. Write the spelling word that best completes each analogy below. Okay? We have the words aside: squeaky, chief, sleek, donkey, evening, weary, healer, deed, league, scheme. Happy is to glad, as tired is to. So when we say we are tired, we mean weary. Colors are to rainbow. Okay, when colors come together, they make a rainbow. As teams are to, when the teams play together, they make a league. Song is to tune, as plan is to scheme. Okay, there's a plan, a drawing that we have to work on it. And four, sun is to moon, as morning is to evening. Five, teacher is to instructor, as leader is the one who leads a group of workers, maybe. Leader is to chief. Six, early is to late, as low pitched is to squeaky. Okay. Um, promise is to vow, as act is to deed. Act when something is performed officially. Carpenter is to builder, as doctor is to healer. Okay, so the doctor heals his patients. The carpenter builds. Dog is to wolf, as horse is to donkey. Warm is to cool, as dull is to sleek. Okay, dull is the opposite of sleek here. Let's continue with the other group of words. Write the spelling word that matches each definition below. The words are above. Which word means breathe? Breathe roughly. Okay, which word means breathe roughly? Wheeze. Way of thinking. Way of thinking. Belief. Something spoken. Something spoken. Speech. 14, brothers and sisters, family. 15, underwater ridge is the reef. 16, actually is indeed. Take air into lungs. is breathe. Cement mixture, the cement mixture that we use in building, it is the concrete. 19, what bees make is the honey. And 20, striped horse-like animal is the zebra. Okay, we can continue now. Now it's time to move to the comprehension and vocabulary part. Let's read the vocabulary words first and find the words that we are going to cover in this lecture. Alter, hazard, collapse, severe, crisis, substantial, destruction, unpredictable. So the words that we are going to cover in this lecture are alter, collapse, hazard, and substantial. What we mean, or what do we mean by each word? Okay, let's guess what each word means through context clues in the coming slides. A picture is worth 1,000 words. Sometimes pictures show the meanings of words better than words, okay, themselves. The first word is alter. Alter, if you look at the picture and let's read the definition. To alter means to make a different or change. We make something different or we change it. Okay, so we alter. The ocean waves slowly alter the shoreline by carving away the rocks. Okay, so the ocean waves change the shoreline by carving away the rocks. So when we say alter, we mean to make a change or a difference in the shape, for example. The word is collapse. Look at the picture. If you see it is collapsing, so it's destroyed. Yes. To collapse means to fall down or cave in. Fall down or cave in. Flood waters caused the bridge to collapse, to become destroyed. Okay, to fall down. So the heavy water caused the bridge to collapse. Word is the hazard. Hazard. Okay, hazard, we use it especially when we want to express that there is a risk or a danger. A hazard is something that can cause harm or injury. Okay, it can cause harm. The water was a hazard to people driving on the street. Yes, it might cause harm or injuries to people, so it is a hazard. The water was a hazard to people driving on the street. The last word in this lecture is substantial. Substantial. Something substantial is of a great amount of or size. It is made of a great amount or size. We got a substantial amount of snow last night. Okay, so you see the snow in on the roof of the house and in front of it. So it's a great amount of snow. So when we say substantial, we mean a great amount of something. Practice now using the words and the context clues. Let's try match the words to each definition, the correct word to its definition. Definition 1, something that is a source of danger is something that might cause danger is a hazard. Yes, it's a hazard. Let's use it in a sentence. The fallen power lines were a possible hazard. Second definition, something of great amount, size, or strength is substantial. The blizzard dropped a substantial amount of snow in our area. Blizzard, like a storm, okay? Let's continue with the definitions and the words. To make a different or a change is to alter something. It's to alter something, to make a change. The sentence, both fast and slow processes alter the Earth's crust. The last definition, to fall down or break, means to collapse. A strong and flexible building should not collapse during an earthquake. Okay, now it's time to watch a video related to your theme. Are you ready? Okay, let's start.
Take action. How do people respond to natural disasters? A natural disaster can strike at any time. Being prepared and knowing how to respond can help keep communities safe. When a forest fire breaks out, firefighters have to respond quickly to get it under control. They work together to keep the fire from spreading to people's homes. Firefighters are first responders, brave people who arrive first on the scene to assess and control further damage. All kinds of natural disasters need first responders. Blizzards, tornadoes, floods, and earthquakes. First responders need to know about the dangers they might face when responding to a natural disaster. Training and experience help them to be prepared for any surprises nature might bring.
So, now we can get from this video that our text or a new reading lesson is about the changes in the weather and what they can cause to human and to nature, and how people must respond to these changes in the weather. Okay, so they are dangerous sometimes, and most of the times, let's say, which needs more awareness about the risks that people might face. Okay, so in order to stay safe most of the times, we need first responders who are expert in such natural disasters and know what to do at the first sight of if a natural disaster suddenly occurs. Okay, A World of Change is the title of our reading lesson, and here the genre is expository. What do I mean by expository? When do we say that the text is expository? We say that the text is expository when it explains facts about topics. So we have a certain topic and we're giving facts, real information. We're not making up the information we're giving. They are facts. They are, let's say, confirmed by scientists, okay, and researchers. Also, the expository text includes text features like diagrams. Diagrams show the parts of something or how process works. Okay, so in most expository texts, we find diagrams to explain more how processes work. And also we might have diagram headings, okay? Headings like small titles, subtitles in the text, because mostly in expository texts, we're giving facts all the time and explanation. So in every paragraph, it's like we're giving a new explanation. So we write like a small title, a heading for every explanation. The headings tell what a section of a text is mostly about. We can say, in other words, that the heading is like the main idea of a paragraph. So this is our new genre for this lecture. Let's read the reading text together. Earth may seem as if it is a large rock that never changes. Actually, our planet is in a constant state of change. Natural changes take place every day. These activities alter the surface of Earth. Some of these changes take place slowly over many years. Others happen in just minutes. Whether they are slow or fast, both kinds of changes have a great effect on our planet. Response reading. Let's see, this question is about this paragraph. What kind of activities change the surface of Earth? What kinds of activities? From the paragraph, what kind of activities change the surface of Earth? Natural activities, natural changes. Okay, the natural activities change the Earth's surface every day. So the natural activities, the activities that come from nature. Okay, let's move on. Slow and steady. Slow and steady is the heading. Okay, let's see, what about slow and steady? Some of Earth's biggest changes can't be seen. That is because they are happening very slowly. Weathering, erosion, and deposition are three natural processes that change the surface of the world. They do it one grain of sand at a time. Pause now the video to answer the question by yourselves, then play it again to know the answer is correct or no. What's the question? What are the three natural processes that are mentioned in this paragraph? The three natural processes. It's in the second line at the end of it. Weathering, erosion, and deposition are the three natural processes that are mentioned in this paragraph. We can move on now. Weathering occurs when rain, snow, sun, and wind break down rocks into smaller pieces. These tiny pieces of rock turn into soil, but they are not carried away from the landform. If you notice here in this diagram, it explains how weathering occurs, okay, and especially deposition at the end. Okay, let's continue. Erosion occurs when weathered pieces of rock are carried away by a natural force such as a river. This causes landforms on Earth to get smaller. They may even completely collapse over time. The Grand Canyon is an example of the effect of erosion. It was carved over thousands of years by the Colorado River. Okay, so erosion occurs when weathered pieces of rock, the pieces of rock that have been broken down by weather or rain, they are carried to another place in order to form a new shape. For example, like the Grand Canyon. The Grand Canyon is a famous place in America, and it's an example of erosion. The Grand Canyon is the effect of erosion, okay? Let's continue. After the process of erosion, what happens after the process of erosion? After the process of erosion, dirt and rocks are then dropped in a new location. So you see they are displaced. They are taken from one place to another. This process is called deposition. Over time, a large collection of deposits may occur in one place. Deposition by water can build up a beach. Deposition by wind can create a substantial landform such as a sand dune. Okay, so you see in the picture the sand dune. Okay, a sand dune definition is a hill of sand near an ocean or in a desert that is formed by the wind. So now that we are done from the first part of the vocabulary and comprehension, it's time for you to watch this video about weathering, erosion, and deposition. Okay, it's just to give you more information.
Hey, Izzy, what's the cooler for?
Hey, Zoe, I'm just icing down some drinks, you know? For absolutely no one, Zoe, what are you doing?
I stepped on a crack in the sidewalk and hurt my ankle.
You tripped on a crack? You better call your mom to make sure she's okay.
She's fine, Izzy. Why are there so many cracks in the sidewalk anyway?
Hey, guys. Remind me not to drink anything from that cooler.
Zoe hurt her ankle from a crack in the sidewalk, and she's using the cooler to ice it down.
Sorry to hear that, Zoe. If it doesn't get better soon, we should take you to see someone.
Dr. Jeff, do you know why there's so many cracks in the sidewalk? They're everywhere.
Actually, it's from a natural process called weathering.
So weather causes it?
Kind of. Let's dive in. I'm Dr. Jeff Finneker, and today we'll explore the science of weathering and erosion. We'll look at how the Earth's surface gets broken down through weathering, how those pieces get moved through erosion, and how the pieces end up somewhere else through a process called deposition. With Dr. Jeff. Welcome to Labracazam, where we make science make sense.
Dr. Jeff, you said that the cracks in the sidewalk were caused by weathering. What is that?
Weathering is when the Earth's surface is broken down into smaller pieces. Then, those pieces are moved in a process called erosion and deposited somewhere else.
Wait a minute. Let me get this straight. So you're saying that the cracks in the sidewalk are caused by weather breaking it up?
Well, weathering is the term we use to describe the process. But there are many things besides weather that break up the Earth's surface.
But how could you break solid rock?
Great question, Zoe. Let's break it down. Let's look at some models of how weathering works. Since we'll be working with powerful tools, we're wearing our goggles and our gloves. Don't try this at home. For this part, I'm going to need a sock? Wait, what? Bert, that's not what I asked for. Oops, that was my favorite pair.
Dr. Jeff, I'm sure you have what you need in your lab coat.
You're probably right. A lock? A clock? A brock? Ah, here it is. A rock. Now, what's something that could easily be carried by wind?
Maybe sand?
That's right. Wind can throw sand and dust against rock. To show you what that can do to a rock over time, I'm going to use this sand blaster. This will create the effect of powerful wind with tiny pieces of sand in it. But as you can see, this is about to get very messy, so we got to go outside.
Whoa, the sand and wind work together to cut a hole in the rock.
And it happened really quickly.
Sometimes weathering happens fast, especially to softer substances like soil. But it usually happens very slowly, over hundreds, thousands, or even millions of years. Can you guys think of anything else in nature that could break down a hard surface like this?
Well, it rained yesterday. Does water cause weathering?
It sure does. Water is actually one of the most common causes of weathering.
We use water all the time, and it seems pretty harmless. How powerful could it actually be against a rock?
Let's find out using this water blaster machine. It uses just a stream of water to cut through hard objects.
No way this'll work. I've used a water gun before. Needless to say, I've never split anyone in half.
Well, when water has enough pressure, let's just see. Back outside we go.
Now that's what I call a watermark.
To do this, we used a high-pressure water stream. But even water flowing slowly over long time periods can shape rocks.
It can also make rocks smooth.
Or even create entire canyons.
Besides the weathering that happens from flowing water, it also happens from water in a different form, ice. We'll demonstrate that using this metal pipe. Izzy, could you please fill this pipe completely full with water by submerging it?
You got it.
Perfect. This pipe is completely filled with water. Now, we're going to tighten it up. Next, we're going to put it into liquid nitrogen. Here you go, Zoe. We'll also need this safety shield. Go for it.
I remember liquid nitrogen from another demonstration. It's extremely cold and causes things to freeze really quickly.
Oh, that was awesome! You were right about the liquid nitrogen, Zoe. It causes the water inside to freeze. Then that water expands, causing the pipe to crack.
I've heard of this happening in people's houses during the winter.
I can see how this would affect rocks. When water gets into the crack and freezes, it expands, causing the crack to either get bigger or even the rock to break.
Labracazam. The types of weathering we've demonstrated here are the ones we can do in the lab, but there are other ways too. Like when plant roots grow into cracks, it causes rocks to split.
Kind of like a wedge being driven into something.
Also, gravity can take a toll on things over time, as seen in a landslide. So now that we know how things are broken apart, where do the tiny pieces of Earth's surface go? I know they didn't just disappear.
Great question, Izzy. Weathering breaks the Earth's surface down into smaller pieces, and then erosion moves those pieces until they're deposited somewhere else. I can show you wind erosion using this compressed air to simulate the wind. Flowing water also moves pieces of the Earth's surface.
So this water flow causes erosion because it's moving the small pieces.
Yes, and it's depositing the pieces over here where the water flow ends.
Glaciers can also move pieces of the Earth's surface with them as they slide.
That happened fast, but in real life, glaciers are huge and move very slowly, like this one in Norway.
It seems like the same forces of nature that break rocks apart, like wind, water, and ice, also move them.
Labracazam. Weathering, erosion, and deposition work together. Weathering, it breaks it down.
Erosion, it's moved.
Deposition, it ends up somewhere else.
Let's look at some natural landforms and see if we can figure out how the material is broken apart, moved, and deposited somewhere else.
The Grand Canyon. It was carved by the flow of the Colorado River over millions of years.
Mushroom rocks. These are created by wind erosion. The wind carries sand close to the ground, carving the bottom more than the top.
I know this place. It's Split Apple Rock, New Zealand. It was created by water freezing into ice, the same thing that caused our pipe to crack.
You might not realize it, but you see effects of weathering and erosion every day. Let's check it out with some real-world science. Earlier today, Zoe tripped on a crack in the sidewalk. Every day, the concrete gets heated and cooled by the sun. The heat causes the sidewalk to expand, and when it's cooled, it contracts. If you do this over hundreds and thousands of times, the sidewalk will crack. Sand on the beach is created from ocean waves pounding on rocks. Those rocks break down into the fine sand we enjoy today. Erosion doesn't just happen over long time periods. Sometimes, like with mudslides, it can happen very quickly. Mudslides are caused by moving water and gravity. Now, let's check in with Zoe with some do-it-yourself fun.
Today, I'll show you how you make a model of weathering, erosion, and deposition using a stream. First, we'll need some supplies: a baking tray with some sand, a few small rocks, a marker, and a water bottle. In one half of the tray, make a landmass with sand, making sure it has a slight downhill slope. The empty part of the tray represents the ocean. Next, use your marker to make your riverbed, starting at the top of the hill and emptying into the ocean. In nature, a riverbed is actually formed by running water. Next, place the stones along the riverbed. These stones represent boulders. To add flowing water to your river, use the water bottle at the top of your riverbed and slowly pour. You can see that as the river flows, some of the sand and rocks are being eroded and then deposited where the river meets the ocean. You can investigate to see what happens when you pour the water slower versus faster. Try it yourself to find out.
Thanks, Zoe. Now, let's review. Today, you learned that the Earth's surface is broken down into smaller pieces through weathering.
Small pieces of the Earth are moved by water, wind, ice, and gravity, which is called erosion.
And these small pieces are deposited in the new location through the process of deposition.
Finally, a nice clean cooler to ice down my drinks.
Ooh, Zoe, what happened?
After learning all about weathering and erosion, I can't stop looking down at the sidewalk. And when you only look down, you run headfirst into a tree.
I'm sorry, Zoe. Is there anything I can do? Great, now my drinks are gonna taste like hair. At least it's better than feet.
Join us next time on Labracazam. I'm Dr. Jeff.
I'm Izzy.
I'm Zoe.
I'm Bert.
Remember,
Always question, always wonder.
So that now we have watched a video about erosion, deposition, and weathering. I think that you have a better understanding of these processes and how they work. This is the last part of the reading now for this lecture. Although erosion is a slow process, it still creates problems for people. Some types of erosion are dangerous. They can be seen as a hazard to communities. To help protect against beach erosion, people build structures that block ocean waves from the shore. They may also use heavy rocks to keep the land from eroding. Others grow plants along the shore. The roots of the plants help hold the soil and make it less likely to erode. Unfortunately, people cannot protect the land when fast natural processes occur. The question here says, how do people respond to help protect against erosion? Pause the video, think of the answer, then look for my answer. So, how do people help protect against erosion? They build structure, use heavy rocks, and grow plants. They build structures, they use heavy rocks, and they grow plants. So now that we have reached the end of our lecture, if you still have any questions, take notes, write the questions aside, and wait for the Zoom session tomorrow so we can discuss the questions with each other. And do not forget to solve the worksheet so we can tomorrow have the correction with each other. Okay? Until tomorrow, stay safe and see you soon. Bye bye.